What's up, guys? Brady here from DFS by the Numbers, and we are on Karma Media, going to be breaking down this week's upcoming UFC card. We have UFC Vegas 20, Ciryl Gane versus Rozenstruik, and we're going to be breaking it down from a DFS perspective as well. I'm really excited to join the Karma team here. You're going to be seeing me on here quite a bit, so make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. Going to be doing videos throughout the week, live streams, going to be looking into doing a live before lock thing on Saturdays, on fight days, and just adding some extra content as well. So make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on all of that. And go check out Karma Media YouTube page. Go check out the website. Have a lot of great stuff on there. And if you are interested in getting all of my core plays for this weekend's event, along with the props we are playing on Prize Picks and Monkey Knife Fight, go to dfskarma.com/shop and sign up for the MMA core plays for instant access starting at just $9.99. Great price over there. A lot of sharp guys, and I'm going to be doing some extra content over there as well, and doing some video content as well. So like I said, subscribe, go check out the website. Lots of good stuff over there, and we have a great community over there in Discord as well. So with that said, we're going to get into it, and we're going to kind of go through the 9K range. We're going to go through the 8K range, 7K range, the dog range, and then go to the punt range as well. And we're going to start up top. 9K range, probably my favorite play in the 9K range, and that's going to be Ciryl Gane. So I really honestly give him the advantage everywhere in this fight outside of experience and outside of really power. Other than that, I think he's the better striker. He's going to be throwing more volume. I think he has the much better ground game. Good takedowns. When he does get on top, he's definitely very dangerous. And I think a big factor in this fight is going to be that ground game. I don't know necessarily if he's going to go to that often or really right away. I do think the majority of this fight does play out on the feet, but I think a glaring path to victory for Ciryl Gane is going to be going out here and getting the takedown on Rozenstruik, somebody that he was taken down twice by Overeem. And when Overeem was on top, Rozenstruik really didn't have anything to offer off of his back. And, going back to a couple fights ago with Rozenstruik, see him getting taken down twice by Junior Albini, somebody who I don't think is in the UFC anymore. Albini was able to take him down twice, get right into mount very easily, and Albini was able to take his back. I mean, if Ciryl Gane gets into mount or takes your back, the fight's going to be over shortly after. So although this is heavyweight, and we saw it last week that it only takes one shot to put the other guy out, I like Gane here. But of course, Rozenstruik is definitely live. We'll talk about him. But as far as the new DraftKings scoring system goes, I've noticed that it does favor A, the wrestlers, the grapplers, and B, finishers, and I think Gane can do a lot of both of that. So I like Gane a lot. I like the price at $9,000. I'm going to be one of the higher owned plays on the slate, obviously main event favorite, and for a good reason. So I'm going to have a ton of Gane, but I will have some Rozenstruik as well, just because this fight is more than likely going to finish. I mean, it's minus 265. Fight doesn't go to decision, which is the most likely fight to end inside the distance. So I like Gane here. Probably my favorite play in the 9K range. So going up a little bit, I don't know how I feel about this one. Magomed Ankalaev, 9,300. I will say this, that Nikita Krylov is one of those killer be killed fighters. So up until like 2 fights ago, this guy has never seen the scorecards. He's been to a decision, I want to say 2 times out of 34 fights, and the guy has a 97% finish rate, which is the highest on the slate. Ankalaev, I mean, the dude's a beast. The dude is legit. A lot of people think he's going to be a future title contender, and I definitely see it, but Krylov is definitely going to be the biggest test of his career. And just going through Ankalaev's wins in his career, just, not all that impressed. Paul Craig, which, he lost in that fight, and if you remember, that was because he tapped with like 1 second left to a triangle, and then he beat guys like Klidson Abreu, he beat guys like Marcin Prachnio, he beat guys like Ion Kudalaba. I mean, the level of competition is just nowhere compared to a Krylov, who's been facing some really good guys like Glover Teixeira, guys like that. So I think Krylov's very live, but I just think the winner of this fight is going to score well, just because of the style of Krylov. Like I said, he's a killer be kill fighter. This fight is more than likely going to end inside the distance, and this fight is minus 185 fight to not go to the distance, which is the second best on the slate. So I actually do see it finishing. And I mean, it's just hard to ignore the upside of a Krylov, especially at that price. But Ankalaev, I do think he's the better fighter. I think he's going to have the more crisp striking. Is he going to be able to knock out Krylov? I'm not so sure. Krylov has a very good chin, actually. He's only been knocked out once in 34 fights, and that was in 2013 at the heavyweight division. So he's never been knocked out at light heavyweight. So it does give me some pause for concern for Ankalaev, somebody I think is going to be one of the highest owned fighters on the slate. But either way, you are going to want the winner of this fight regardless, and I do think Ankalaev does have a good chance of winning. I want to say he's like the third biggest favorite on the slate. So Ankalaev, although I'm not in love with it, you really got to touch on him a little bit. I think if he does win, it's going to score very well. Getting into the 8K range, Ronnie Lawrence, 8,600 is somebody I have a lot of interest in just because, like I mentioned, the new DraftKings scoring system is going to favor these wrestlers and grapplers. And what is Ronnie Lawrence? Ronnie Lawrence is a very good wrestler. We saw on his Dana White Contender Series fight, he went out there and got like 11 or 12 takedowns, and I don't necessarily see him going out there and getting that many takedowns, but Vince Cachero has shown flaws in that takedown defense, not just in his last fight against Jamal Emmers, where he was taken down before, but he has been taken down on the regional scene as well. And if Ronnie Lawrence, which I think the striking's close, just him having that wrestling in his back pocket, I think is going to go a long way in this fight. And although I don't necessarily see a finish, I can see him racking up plenty of takedowns, plenty of top control, and actually scoring a pretty decent score at 8,600. Ronnie Lawrence is somebody I'm definitely looking at, and I don't think he's going to be overly owned just because a lot of people probably don't know who this guy is. I mean, this is a UFC newcomer making his UFC debut. But yeah, I think he has a style that can really, really fit the DraftKings scoring, especially the new DraftKings scoring system as well. So Ronnie Lawrence, right in that mid-range, is somebody I'm definitely looking at this week. Alex Caceres, 8,800. I don't love it. But I think this is a fight you're going to want to target either side. I'm hearing an interview with Kevin Croom. This dude is kind of like a kill-or-be-killed fighter. He's going to want to finish this fight. We saw in his UFC debut against Roosevelt Roberts, he went in there, clipped Roberts hard, ended up submitting him, and he said in an interview that this fight's not going to the third round, which that is music to my ears because I do like this fight regardless. And Kevin Croom is going to present a lot of problems for Caceres. Caceres is somebody that's going to want to stay on the outside and pick apart Croom in this fight. I don't think Croom's going to give him the opportunity to do that, but watching the tape on Croom, although I do think he'll present some problems here for Caceres, when he does go for takedowns, he does leave his neck a little bit exposed. He has been submitted 3 times in his career. He has been knocked out twice as well, so has been finished in 5 out of 13 losses. I wouldn't be shocked if Caceres found a submission here. Caceres is a black belt himself. Sometimes I really question how, actually good his ground game is, but he does have a decent amount of submissions on his record, and I have seen Croom put in some bad spots, so I don't hate Caceres at 8,800 as a very low-owned play. I don't think many people at all are going to have him, but I do think this fight has a good chance of finishing, and I do think Caceres is going to be extremely low-owned, and for that reason, I'm definitely having a look at 8,800 there. Getting to the next play, another play that a lot of people might not know about, this is going to be Ramazan Kermagomedov. And it's just, I'm not all that impressed with the guy. It's just he has the style to beat Alex Oliveira, whether it is going out here, throwing more volume. Alex Oliveira is somebody that is extremely low volume. He lands 2.87 significant strikes per minute, so he can come out here, throw more volume, maybe push Oliveira against the cage, possibly find some takedowns, although Oliveira's takedown defense looks pretty solid. But I do think he has the style to beat Oliveira. It's just the level of competition. This is a big step up, going to guys in the regional scene to guys like an Alex Oliveira. Oliveira has like 32 fights on his record, and I don't know. I'm not all that impressed with Oliveira as of late. In his last fight, he really didn't look like he wanted to be there, but he's just so inconsistent. Some fights he shows up, some fights he doesn't. The thing I don't like about Kermagomedov, and something I think could hurt him in this fight, is just how hittable he is. You really don't want to be hittable against a guy like Oliveira, but if he does win, I can see him scoring well, whether it is throwing a lot of volume, whether it is possibly getting takedowns, getting some control time against the cage. So for that reason, I will have some exposure here. I don't know how owned he'll be. Probably not crazy owned. I think he'll be a little bit lower on the lower owned side. For that reason, 8,300 I don't think is an awful play for Kermagomedov. So getting into our dog range, our 7K range, some plays that really stick out. I mean, it's an ugly one, but there really isn't much down here. It's Montana De La Rosa, 7,800. So I actually like De La Rosa to win this fight. I think her striking is much improved ever since she went to Team Elevation. Her striking has been looking good. And I didn't notice it at first, but going back and looking at the numbers, she actually outstruck Viviane Araujo in her last fight just by a couple strikes. But Araujo obviously landed the harder strikes and stuff. But De La Rosa still, her striking looked improved. And in this fight, I want to say Bueno Silva's the better striker, but De La Rosa, I don't know. I think she can make this close on the feet. Silva's like extremely hittable. She averages 6.74 significant strikes absorbed per minute with a 44% striking defense in Silva. So very hittable, very flat-footed, very slow. I think De La Rosa can actually have some success on the feet, but where I think this fight's going to be won and lost on is going to be the mat. Montana De La Rosa has some actually really good wrestling, averages about 2 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 30% takedown accuracy, and we have seen Bueno Silva taken down. We've seen her controlled, so I do think she can implement that game plan at that point. I do think it can score decent on DraftKings at 7,800. The only thing I'm concerned about is the typical women's MMA armbar from guard from the Silva side, but if she is not able to lock up that armbar from guard, which De La Rosa has only been submitted once in I want to say like 2015 by one Mackenzie Dern. I think Montana De La Rosa can win a decision and actually score decent with the takedowns and control time. So De La Rosa at 7,800, I think she's going to be on the lower own side. I don't hate it as an underdog play there. Kevin Croom, 7,400. Yeah, like I said, this is a fight I want to target. I think Croom's going to present a style that can cause some problems to Caceres here. I think he's going to come forward. He's going to throw harder shots than Caceres. He's going to be the more dangerous fighter on the feet. I think he could take Caceres' back standing. I've seen Caceres get his back taken standing by guys like Hooper, guys like Jason Knight, and I have seen Croom have the ability to do that on the regional scene. But I just think he's going to be the more dangerous fighter in this fight. If he is able to get this fight down to the mat, we've seen Caceres get his back taken easily. We've seen him submitted pretty easily as well. Caceres has been submitted 6 times, and Croom does have a very good submission game as well. Also want to note that Croom's been training with James Krause, somebody that's been on a roll as of late as a coach. So I think Croom's very live here. Honestly, if I was to line this fight on DraftKings, I'd probably put Caceres 8,200. I'd put Croom at 8,000. So I think you're getting a lot of value here with Croom at 7,400. If there is a finish, I think it's more on the Croom side. But ultimately, like he said himself, this fight's not going to the 3rd round. And yeah, like I said, that's music to my ears. I want to play some Croom. I think on the feet, he can make it close just by the pressure, just by throwing the harder shots, the more convincing shots, the more volume. If it does hit the mat, I do think he can have a lot of success as well. So I think he's going to be one of the more popular dogs on the slate. I mean, for a good reason. He has a ton of upside. We saw what he did in his last fight, which was turned to a no contest, but still went out there and got a first round finish, was able to hurt Roberts and submit him shortly after. Don't think it's going to be that easy, but I do think he has multiple paths to victory here. All right, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, 7,200 as a punt play, getting into our punt range now. And like I said earlier in the video, this is the heavyweight division. It only takes one. Derek Lewis is somebody that landed like 4 strikes last week. If Rozenstruik can land on Gane, knock him out, I wouldn't be shocked at all. You're getting a really cheap price here at 7,200. He's definitely a punt play you have to take into consideration. This fight, like I said, is the most likely to end inside the distance. I will be playing both sides here myself. I have a strong lean on Gane, but again, it's the heavyweight division. Sometimes the better fighter doesn't always win. I do think Gane's the better fighter, but Rozenstruik does pack a ton of power. 91% knockout rate for Rozenstruik. I wouldn't be shocked if he went out there and knocked out Gane, especially if this stays standing. If he does get taken down, that's where I do see some problems, but I think he's live as long as this does stay standing. And then the final pump play here, we have Nikita Krylov, who is going to be 6,900. And it's just because of how dangerous he is. 97% finish rate, 41% by knockout, 56% by submission. Ankalaev has been submitted before by Paul Craig, and what was kind of a weird fight towards the end. He tapped with a second left for some reason, but he was submitted by Paul Craig regardless. He was taken down twice by Paul Craig. If Krylov is able to get down Ankalaev, I think he could actually have some decent success, but I don't know, it's hard picking against Ankalaev, but Krylov, if he wins, it's going to be a slate breaker. He's going to win inside the distance. I don't see Krylov winning a decision. I'd be extremely shocked. If he does win, I'd probably see a submission. I think would probably be the more likely path to victory for Krylov, and I don't think it's a crazy possibility for that to happen. So for that reason, 6,900, I think Krylov is not a bad pump play at all, really. All right, guys, so that's about it. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Would really appreciate that a ton. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Like I said, going to be getting a lot of content out within the next couple of weeks, the next couple of days. Going to be doing some live streams, other content like that. And like I said, if you are interested in getting all my core plays for this weekend's event, along with some props we're playing on Prize Picks and Monkey Knife Fight, go to dfskarma.com/shop and sign up for the MMA core plays for instant access, which is $9.99 for the week. Great price there, so sign up. And that's about it, guys. And good luck. If you have any questions, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. And good luck on Saturday. And yeah, we'll be seeing you soon.